Welcome to Cultura Latina. Today we're going to Bolivia, where a group of artists are turning garbage into beautiful pieces of public art. Then we come back to Quito, where a family business is capturing the indigenous nationalities into colorful dolls. Wanna join me? A group of several Bolivian artists and sculptors got together for the first time to create pieces of art made out of old rubbish and garbage that will soon be displayed in the Bolivian capital's public areas. Take a look. This is Plaza San Francisco in the heart of La Paz, Bolivia. It's normally full with tourists and locals who come to admire the beautiful church and its architecture. But for the past few weeks, they've come to see an entirely different art form. 30 artists turning old unwanted junk into incredible sculptures and unique works of art.
This is the fourth meeting of artists talking about scrap metal that we call bachate. At this meeting we're looking at Andean rituals and we'll have 5 different sculptures for the city of La Paz.
As a part of the project, the artists work out in the open, in full view of the public. The artists say this is the fun part, watching the public watching them trying to figure out what they are making. The best bits of old garbage are being turned into sculptures depicting the condor, tortoise, to extended hands and other animals unique to Andean culture. It involves a lot of skill, and one skill you must have is to be able to use an angle grinder.
En general, cada uno tiene sus propias ideas.
In general, everyone has their own ideas. When we are doing a project like this, we say, give your own opinions, your specifications to finish this project.
Especificaciones y damos a concluir este proyecto.
It is born to people. It contributes even in a small way to the world.
Lo que es el trabajo.
This sculpture represents the duality of man and woman. It symbolizes the union that is part mystical, the union of the Andean worldview. Man and woman will always be connected to the same purpose. In this case, we can represent it as the sun and the moon.
The old bits of steel are often collected by the artists themselves and sometimes donated by the public. The artists say it gives them great pride to see something that is not beautiful or aesthetically pleasing transform into public art pieces. Recycling all this old garbage is also good for the environment. Located in the picturesque old town in Quito, Nina Folk is a family business that seeks to capture and promote Ecuador's indigenous identity through the dresses of their unique dolls. Want to see what they look like? This is Nina Folk, the largest doll shop in Ecuador. Located 2 blocks away from Ecuador's presidential palace and main square, it is an obligatory stopover in Quito's historic sector. Andrea Samaniego and her mother come from a family of artisans and have been making dolls for the past 35 years. Looking to highlight the diversity of cultures in Ecuador, they have researched the dress of the country's indigenous nationalities, and these dolls are a customer favorite.
En Ecuador tenemos más de 20 etnias.
In Ecuador, we have more than 20 different indigenous nationalities, and each one has their own way of dressing. When we began Nina Folk, we noticed that there was a great deal of variety in the dolls. So we put ourselves to the task of investigating traditional dress and began representing them in dolls and textiles. We have realized that cloth is very noble. We began working with local producers, who make their own cloth, and in the beginning we had 4 or 5 designs. Now we can proudly say that Nina Folk has the largest collection of dolls in Ecuador.
Y ahora, pues orgullosamente podemos decir que Nina Folk tiene la colección más grande de muñecas del Ecuador.
Indigenous dress in Ecuador varies regionally and corresponds to different local traditions. Andrea and her mother have made it their mission to accurately represent each group by including their involvement in the design process.
Hay comunidades que son más conocidas en Ecuador, por ejemplo.
There are communities that are more well known than others in Ecuador. For example, the community of Otavalo, which is one of the most well-known, and therefore it is a general reference because people know how they use the color blue. They use the skirt, the alpargata shoes. They are the most known community, and the first one that we did. And then we looked for more remote communities that are not as visible. So we have, in many cases, traveled to become closer to these communities, to research. It's a beautiful process, because there you can tell that each way of dressing has a lot of symbolism. And this can be seen in the case of the Otavaleño doll, for example. The way women wear their skirt and the way the underskirt is showing means she is single, and when the underskirt is not showing means she is married. So there's interesting symbolism in each dress. We also have the advantage of being a small, multicultural country, very diverse, which makes us closer to indigenous communities.
Viajado. También tenemos la ventaja de ser un país pequeñito.
A diversity of doll-making methods and a wide variety of characters can be found in Nina Folk, as different forms and fabrics are assigned to each doll.
Ahora, por ejemplo, estamos trabajando en la colección Quitología.
We are working on a collection called Quitología. Quitología includes historic characters from Quito, who maybe are not in books, but are in collective memory of all Quiteños. There are people like La Torera, who is a very elegant woman, so elegant that children would bother her. They would follow her. They would yell Torera. She has a very unique style. We made her very elaborate, and you can see her here. We have Evaristo, who is also an iconic character of Quito. And this is how we have been completing different collections. We have a lot of dolls that represent urban tribes, urban cultures, like rockers, drag queens, goths. So we try to think outside the box, to do innovative work. This is what we like to do, and we are constantly experimenting with new techniques.
Hacemos drag queens, hacemos góticos.
Nina Folk looks to support the communities who are represented in their designs. Many of the accessories toted and worn by the dolls are made by members of the indigenous communities who use traditional fabrics and techniques to make their products.
Entonces nos basamos en materiales locales. Ahora mismo
we are working with local materials. To date, we use 80% national materials, which include fabrics and wools. We use hats, very small hats for the dolls, which are handmade by communities. In the case of Cuenca, for example, we have a hat made of paja toquilla, which is made by women of the community. So in a way, we are giving work to the artisans, so that they make the accessories needed for the dolls we make.
Para que esos artesanos hagan los accesorios que hacen falta para los muñequitos que elaboramos.
Nina Folk breaks the mold in a national doll making by representing various sectors of Ecuadorian society, by supporting local communities and including their input. Nina Folk has succeeded in creating unique designs and never before seen collections, making it Ecuador's premier doll shop. Well, that was a lot of color and art for this week. Make sure you join us next week for another amazing taste of Latin American culture. See you then.